Don't take that out on me.
I'm not taking it out on you.
First of all, she double booked her night. She should have been earlier to the venue.
I could not be.
Okay, but that's not on me.
You made me miss.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackburn 91. We're talking to you guys about Erana, and James. And actually, this is one of the best kind of videos or clips in the show to showcase how relationships have little breakdowns. Now, this wasn't gonna cause them to divorce or anything. It wasn't that kind of major thing. This is going to be one of those kind of moments where they are going to discuss some of the issues that they have as to pertaining to this argument. And this argument is typical of relationships. And if you don't climb down in the moment that you have this argument, you are going to hurt each other. But what's so beautiful about this is not necessarily the after effect. It's literally what happens in this moment. Both parties are emotional, James included. And men like to try and say, I'm not emotional. Both parties were emotional, right? And in that emotional aspect, they missed each other. It's so powerful to see it when you watch it and break it down, which we'll do. You'll notice how they both complain about something that the other person was doing and how they both were suffering things prior to that moment. That moment is a given because of what they experienced prior to that. They're both emotional, frustrated about the day they're having so far. And then they meet at home, each other expecting to be each other's safe space in that moment, and none of them giving it to each other. And then there's an argument that happens. Typical relationship stuff, right? But when you learn how to not kill each other, especially in those moments that we're warring, we're sparring, but we're not killing each other, right? We're training, but we're not killing each other. Then, you learn how you'll be able to come out of those moments better off for it. So let's just break it down. But before we do, I want to do a massive favor: like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you. Let's get a little intro going. Stay hydrated because streets out there are hot,
Little Black, you know what time it is.
All right, yeah. So talking obviously about Erana and James, let's go through it. Let's just see this. What's the first part here?
It's my damn best friend's birthday.
How make you miss it?
Because you was yelling and stuff.
Are you?
Pause. Very first, one of the first things. I mean, there was arguments longer than this actually before this as well. But she says, "Oh, you know what? You made me miss my best friend's birthday." And he says, "How? Because you was yelling and stuff." That's not what made you miss the best birthday, but that's a part of it. That's not what made you miss it. All right. Now she's putting the blame on him. This is what we do in relationships all the time for something that she chose to do. You chose not to go to a birthday after he shouted. You could have still gone, right? You could have still gone and still had a good time, but you didn't. Now, of course, we can understand that you might be emotional and might be hurt or annoyed by what he did, but you still could have gone, right? But you putting the blame on him now. Now, watch what happens when he decides to talk about what he feels.
Serious?
Yes, I was like, why
You
is
gonna
he yelling
cry
at me?
over me?
Because I had to explain to her why I missed her birthday. We
You
were like
blame me.
literally planning
You
that for
blame
2
me.
weeks. Yeah.
He's not I mean, like I said, he's a catalyst, but he's not to blame. Babe, if you missed it, it's because you wanted to miss it, right? Now, of course, I'm saying that in a more harshest tone in the sense of, I keep saying this for both men and women: take accountability for your actions. Because right now, what's happening is, the buck is being passed. So, like, of course, yes, you might not be in the most best emotional spaces when you come to his club, and he's yelling and stuff like that. But in the end, that's not necessarily, you chose to make a decision not to go to the club anymore. He didn't say you can't go. He didn't force you that you couldn't go. So you chose it. And once you start putting yourself in that space where you take accountability for every action that you're making, irrespective of whether you were influenced or not, you start to realize, oh, I can change that. Oh, I can change that. Oh, I don't have to accept that. Right? But it's funny because he's going to do the exact same thing. She's saying how it's his fault that he didn't go to her best friend's birthday, and she got to explain to her best friend, right? But part number 2 is this: she also double booked. She had Ashley's thing and then had a friend's birthday and was late to her friend's birthday, pulling up. But it's because she double booked. Whose fault is that? Right? So now look at it from this point of view. She's double booked. She's late. She's had a beef situation with Ashley and Winter situation on her neck with Monique. Emotions are running probably high, feeling some type of way. And then you come to the club and then this thing happens too. Of course, now all you're thinking is about how you feel and not necessarily the actual facts. Because that's how we determine our relationships, by how we feel. Right? Really interesting, this stuff. Watch.
Yes.
I was already upset about the event with Ashley in winter, all the yelling and screaming and fighting. And then I had to come to the club and get yelled at from my husband.
Now, let's be honest though, he was yelling. As she said, he was yelling and shouting. Now, we're going to deal with him in a second. That's compounded what she felt. So notice I said earlier on about each other's safe space. What was meant to be happening is, I come from where I was coming from. I see you, babe. Maybe you give me a kiss. Say, baby, okay? You're like, yeah, just had a little thing with the girls, and I got my friend's birthday now, and I double booked myself, and da-da-da. And then you come and confess those things, and I say, babe, don't worry about it. You go in there, you party, and you have a good time, right? But because I'm frustrated now, when you come and you're late, and you're taking long to park your car, and when you step out, you got a moody face. I'm already frustrated because already stuff happening in the club that I'm annoyed by. And then you come along with your mood. I haven't asked you what's going on with you. You haven't asked what's going on with me. We don't know what's going on with each other. And we're both assuming about each other's position. And then an argument begins to ensue because we already assume we are feeling what we're feeling, and we don't know what you're feeling. But as far as whatever you're feeling, it don't matter, because what I'm feeling is more important right now. That's what leads to most time arguments, our selfishness, or at least, let me say, our ability to see our own pain, but not sometimes our partners. And that's normal because we're humans and we're growing in that aspect.
Because I didn't do anything. All I said was, I'm get out the car because I can't walk. And then everybody's looking like, what's going on?
There was 3 people out front.
It was more than 3 people.
Okay,
there
4.
was people up on the little deck part. It was like, who he yelled?
So she felt some type of way, of course, about him shouting, not just because of that, because it's a public embarrassment as well, which is real. You don't want to be shouting at your partner. Never want to be shouting at your partner. We know James has the ability to do that. Let's keep it a buck. You never want to be at a place where you're shouting at your partner and berating them in front of individuals in public. It doesn't look good. It makes your partner look like a child. And that's rude. And that's disrespectful. And he has to work on that, because that can't run. Now, of course, we understand that there could have been a situation where there are moments where we lose it, and there's some moments where we forget ourselves, and that's okay. But yeah, in that moment, shouting at your wife, that ain't gonna help you guys grow in that moment. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's have it.
That. And I was like, they probably know it's his wife. I said, you know what? I'm gone. So I just left.
Hold on. First of all, you can save them tears, all right?
So this is what she said. She said, I saw people watching, and they're probably thinking, obviously, he's shouting at his wife, and then I left. Well, that's called embarrassment. That's called shame. And in those feelings that you're feeling, it caused you to go away, because just like Adam and Eve in the garden, shame caused them to what? Hide away from God. Whenever you start to feel shame, you begin to hide yourself. Whenever you begin to feel shame, you begin to remove yourself from the instance. I don't want to feel shame. If I feel shame, then I'm not going to be able to stay here. But the moment she felt that emotional shame, she drove off and went. She's looking around like people are looking at me, probably laughing and not respecting me. Shame. Right? Now, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know in that moment she felt shame. And even in this conversation, he would have to pick it up that she felt shame. Right? And she would also have to communicate that she felt shame. And that's why she went away. Look, if we could explain how we felt generally with language, more of us would understand each other. It's very difficult to. Even the most versed communicators struggle sometimes to understand how they feel, because we can have a mixed bag of feelings. And that can be very difficult for the person who's hearing, because there's a mixture of feelings. How do I handle that? Right? So, but in this instance, there was shame involved. That's why she drove off. All right, cool.
You don't even know what I had to deal with.
Every time you get frustrated with what's going on in the club or whatever, do you take it out on me?
So you listen to what he just said there. He said, obviously, look, you don't know what I had in the club. Now, part of it might have been more of a deflection, because the way he kind of said it at the time, it felt a little bit like a deflection as well. But, in all honesty, whatever he was feeling, whatever he was going through, that caused him to react the way he also reacted towards her as well. And see, both parties are suffering. Both parties had issues. Both parties are dealing with things prior to meeting each other. When they met each other, they didn't tell each other that they're feeling these things. And because they didn't tell each other that they're feeling these things, immediately there's an argument that ensues, because I'm assuming you are doing this on purpose. I'm doing this on purpose to you. You're feeling some way because you feel like I'm not listening, I'm not hearing you, and you should have been my comforter. You should have been my provider, protector in that moment, but you weren't. You should have been my peace, but you weren't. And so now we clash. That's why I said it's a perfect example of relationships and how arguments actually happen. Both of them are going through things at that exact moment. And when they meet, there's an argument that ensues because, oh, you did X, Y, and Z, but you didn't see what I was doing. I was dealing with, you didn't see this X, Y, Z. And then we argue about whose fault it actually is, which is crazy. Like I watched and I said, yo, relationships are like this. The difficulty in seeing eye to eye because two people are trying to see as one. It's not easy. Different perspectives on how you see things. Should we use blue or should we use red? Well, it depends, because it depends on your perspective. Listen, if you're hearing what I'm saying, man, if you're hearing what I'm saying, listen, leave a comment down below in the comment section. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded, and we'll see you again very, very soon.
Little black, you know what